Welcome to Live, Laugh, Chat, a podcast with Alexis and Becca. Join us as we talk about family, friends, life, and more. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram under Live, Laugh, Chat Podcast.
Hey.
Hi. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I was about to say welcome to week 3. It is week 4.
Oh, is it really? Already?
Wait. Get to know us.
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, week 4. I typed it wrong. Yeah, week 4. So my mom asked me, she started listening to last week's podcast. And she asked me, why'd you start a podcast? And I said, because I wanted to talk into the big fancy microphone. That's a big
fancy microphone.
The big fancy microphone you can see in podcasts 1 and 2. But Kevin moved it, and now it's not in my face, and I just feel like I'm talking to like the general public, and I do that for a living, and I don't need. It's not fun anymore. So if I randomly just lean over, if you're watching the stream, it's because I want to talk in the microphone and be all fancy smancy.
Do you want me to put my microphone off to the opposite side so we're both half
like leaning
away from each other? I was about to say, I wish your microphone was in the middle so then we could be one full face.
Oh, good times. But
for anybody watching.
Shout out to my mom for at least starting the podcast. Shout out to my librarian at my school, Miss Gay. She watched it.
Yeah. She listened or did she watch?
I think she listened because I linked the Spotify and like I tell people it's on Apple Podcasts. I always say Apple Music, but it's podcasts. And I don't necessarily always link the YouTube, but fun fact, if you're listening to us, you can go see our not stupidity on YouTube.
Yes. Well, it's so funny because I mentioned it today because we've been having that name issue from our last episode of school. And so we're like, it's showing up like what kids you can use nicknames for now. And so I can start using nicknames. And I just because they're rearranging schedules. So now I have doubles in all of my classes. As soon as I said, I don't have a problem this year, I had a problem.
And I will say, we did look it up a little bit more because I was talking with a coworker. And like, there is a bill, the one I talked about last week, Florida House Bill 1069. But this is just her county's response to it. So like, the reason I didn't necessarily know a lot about it previous was because it's not my county's response was different than your county's response, which makes sense. But we're not talking about schools this week.
We're not doing school.
Whoa. Fucking road tripping, baby.
Okay, so wait. What is the joke today? Road trip related? Yes. Okay, go ahead. What you got?
Have you heard that Teslas don't have that new car smell?
No.
They have more of an Elon Musk.
That's good. I like that.
Okay, I have a bonus joke though today because a parent told it to me because I do fun facts of the day and she told me this joke and I was like, it's a joke, not a fun fact, but I will tell everyone else tonight. What did a cowboy say at his second rodeo?
At his second rodeo? What did a cowboy say at his second rodeo? Yippee-ki-yay. And if you're an adult, you know how that ends.
He said, "This ain't my first rodeo."
Man! I should have had that one! I'm so mad.
My school, I think I talked about this last week. They started a joke of the day. And
yes, you did say that.
It's like, hey, I came here first. Anyway, I love jokes. They're my favorite. We're not talking jokes. We're talking road tripping. You can see how sporadic our brains are. Happy full first week of school.
That's exactly what it was. First full week of school, and we're halfway through it.
Okay, so context. Why are we talking about road trips in specific?
because we're already done with work and we want to go back to
summer. Because we have the Queen of Road Trips in our presence, y'all.
I think my mom is the Queen of Road
Trips. The spawn of the Queen of Road Trips. The princess of road. Princess of Road Trips.
I will take that one. My mom is the Queen of Road Trips, who derived from the King of Road Trips, my grandpa. My grandpa used to drive everywhere. His job was to drive. They used to go everywhere. And the only trips that my mom could take growing up a lot of times were road trips. And so when we were being raised, a lot of time we were poor. We didn't have a lot of money. I want to say we were like poor, but we didn't have a lot of money. So when we did trips, it was a lot of times it was road trips because gas was way cheaper back then than an air flight. And so, and we're used to living up in the New England area, which you're close.
You could, yeah.
So like a road trip was a whole nother state versus in Florida. It's a little harder.
A whole other county.
Yeah. So yeah, I would call myself the Princess of Road Trips.
A long lineage, though, it sounds like.
Oh yes, we have a very long lineage.
Bow down. Which you already know that I bow down to you guys as a road tripping royalty. Because
family,
yeah, as a road tripping, royalty family, royal family.
Yeah, you literally gave us the reins.
Yeah, so last year, 2 years ago.
2 years now, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was the end of 2021.
2021.
It was the end of my first year teaching, and I, for some unbeknownst reason to me, wanted a lobster roll. But here's the catch. I wanted a lobster roll from Maine.
Specifically. She calls me up and she goes, I want a lobster roll.
No, wait, rewind.
Okay.
I go, you want to go to Maine?
Oh, yeah, you did say that. You did start with Maine. Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's go to Maine.
You're like, why do we want to go to Maine? I want a lobster roll.
And I'm like, but then I would specify, I'm like, we could just go somewhere like close by. Like, we could go to the seafood restaurant. And she's like, no.
Nah. I want to go to Maine. I want to go all the way.
She's like, I want a lobster roll from Maine. I was like, we can't get one from New England? We can't get one off the coast? From Maryland? No. Maine.
I was like, so I'm not really a big geography person. You guys are also much more geography people in your family. And
we had a map in the kitchen. And like when we were younger, we started with states. And so my mom would name a state and you'd point it out. And then we started with capitals. And so you'd find a capital. And then as soon as we got good at that, she'd name a city on this map that we had in our kitchen. And you would have to find it. And it was a game. Like it was literally a game. So I knew very many of the big cities and everywhere.
And her and her sister aren't competitive at all.
No, not at all. Zero competitiveness here.
Yeah. So geography is not really my strong suit. And so I knew that like New England was known for their seafood. I did know that New England was not a state. I will give myself credit there.
Yeah, it's public school.
But I couldn't necessarily say like what was encompassed in New England. And so it's like Maine. I know for a fact Maine's known for its lobsters. Let's go there. But I will say on that road trip, we did debate what all was included in all the zones. So I don't feel too stupid.
We did have an argument on certain states if they were considered part of New England or not.
So, but yeah, so I wanted to go to Maine. And I knew that Becca was into traveling and road tripping. And the first thing that she said is, can we invite my mom? And of course I said, yeah. And so within a week, 28 hours, we had an itinerary written by.
We already had it. Yeah. We already had the itinerary set up and like a nice basic outline. And then we went in and everyone's like, okay, I want this, I want that. And then we added to our itinerary and like adapted it. But yeah, within 24 hours, my mom and I already had, okay, this is where we're going to be on this day and whatever.
And when we say like an itinerary, I don't just mean like dates and times. I mean gas prices and where we were going to stay and roads.
And how much
we're
going to cost. Because we were like, okay, an average well, the car we were going to take is going to average about 20 miles to the gallon. We're going to say it's about $3.50 at the time, a gallon. And so we had like a money budget as well. And then we budgeted out for food and dinner and the lobster rolls. And
yeah. And we will say, like, within the 48 hours was definitely like that basic, like, about this much money, and we're going to stop at about these places, and we're probably going to stay here. Because we were trying to stay in national parks or places that we had, like, friends in. So within 48 hours, we kind of knew that.
Yeah, which was also the reason we wanted to invite my mom, is because she's a senior. So she has the senior national park pass, which is free. So then this whole trip just became a whole lot cheaper because we're not paying to get into the national parks that we wanted to visit. And we get senior discounts at campgrounds and everywhere. So it was wonderful. That's one of the other big reasons we wanted to invite my mom. Having a third driver.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to get into it, but she played a crucial role in our, not only was she a planner, but she was a crucial role in the car.
Crucial driver.
Crucial driver. I guess we'll just talk about it now. What is your favorite, what kind of driver are you?
Okay, well, so we found out when the three of us took our road trip, we're
very compatible.
Yes, we are a great trio. Okay. Each of us had our key driving times. I am speed.
I am lightning. I am light.
Good, I'm glad you
quick like a thunder.
So if we were running late or we needed to get somewhere, I was the driver. I pedaled to the metal all the way to the floor. Vroom. And I'm not.
But you're also cognizant, though, aware of your surroundings and like police and all that. Like, you very much know when to go fast, when to not go fast, all the things. Yes.
Well, and then I don't bob and weave really bad, but I do I'm like, okay, I'm in the left-hand lane. I'm going to pass you, and then I'll get back into the middle lane. That, and I'm not doing 100, but I do know when I can go a little bit faster versus when I need to pull back on the reins. But yeah, if we were running late anywhere, put me in the driver's seat, I will go. But that's not my style.
For me, I am the 2 hours or less. Like, if it is a short drive, I got you. I can drive those short trips, whether it's super early in the morning, super late at night. That doesn't bother me, but it needs to be a minimum because I start to get bored and antsy. So short trips, driving around like DC. DC. I got you there. But
I hated driving in DC. It was so bad. So at one point, we had to get the car and then meet up. So
we were on the other side of the mall and from the car.
We were on. But Alexis had never been to the mall before, and my mom couldn't get back efficiently enough. She wasn't going to be quick enough to get back to the car and then get us. So I wanted Alexis to have more time at the monuments and seeing everything. My mom couldn't do it, so I had to do it. So I went all the way back, and I got the car, and I was driving through. I ran at least 2 or 3 red lights because they were on the side of the road.
So for context, if you live in a state that's normal, we in Florida they hang in the middle. So like your lane matches up to your lights basically. In DC they're on like basically the crosswalk poles.
Yes, on the sidewalk.
Is where they are.
On the sidewalk. So you have to literally turn your head to see these lights. And I didn't realize how used to hanging lights I'm used to having. And even like our lights hang on wires or they're on like a hurricane pole. But they all hang across our streets. You do not have to worry. The light is above your road. Like you know where the light is. And in DC, they're on the sidewalk. And I'm telling you, I know I burned one because I got honked at. I'm pretty sure I burned another. Thank God no one else was around because I was panicking. As soon as I found them and I picked them up, I'm like, someone else take them.
So the plan was that she would drive us home, and she gets into a spot and goes, "I'm done. Can't do it." I was like, "I got you guys."
We would have died. Like, I'm surprised I didn't get into a car accident. You're lucky it was like midnight. It was so late at night.
It was
because nobody was in town in DC at the time, and Oh man, it was bad. Like I probably would have been in an accident if it was middle of the day.
So we have short-term driving, we have pedal to the metal, and your mama, the glorious lady, everything else. Everything else.
She had all except for at night. She doesn't.
And that's why I drove in DC too.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't enjoy driving at night anymore, which is fine. Like whatever. Yeah. You literally took all the other times when we were in that
12 hours from sun up to sundown. I can take the 30 minutes the sun is down.
Like, I got this. You're like, it's cool.
Yeah. So that's how we are, who we are as drivers. You guys take road trips with Adam. Does Adam ever play into that car riding? Car driving?
Adam is a long distance driver too.
Okay.
So when we do family trips with my mom and my dad, my mom and Adam are the only drivers.
Okay.
My dad and I don't have to drive at all.
Passenger princesses.
Yes. The two of us
seat princesses.
Back. And my dad, the first time we did a family road trip, my dad felt so bad because my dad likes to be involved and he likes to feel like he's contributing.
Yeah.
But I was like, why? Why? You and I can sit back, enjoy our snacks, watch movies, watch videos. Like, we don't need to drive. Adam enjoys driving. My mom enjoys driving. My dad just wants to feel involved and part of the team. And so I think he wanted to drive because that's how he felt. But I'm like,
yeah,
we're going to sit back. We're going to let them. Shoo.
So what is your favorite trip so far? I'm going to talk about mine first, just because we've already talked about it. It's definitely Maine. That was a great trip. Our itinerary for Maine was we drove to Kentucky because we made a mistake. And then we drove to...
No. We stopped in Virginia.
Sorry, Virginia, not Virginia. I don't know why I keep saying Kentucky. It was Virginia. If I say Kentucky. So it's Virginia because I wanted to go to a museum. And the day that we were in Virginia, this museum was closed. And also Virginia did us so dirty because night one that we were there, freezing, cold, frigid. Okay, like sleeping bags,
not sleeping bags. We thought we weren't prepared.
Okay, so freezing. Okay, then we get to it was DC, but we stayed in Massachusetts, Greenwich National Park. Is where we stayed, but it was DC's night. And then
we did.
Nope. So
we stayed. Yeah.
Virginia,
in the new national park.
Yeah. So but it was for DC, and then we went to Boston, and we were set 2-3 days in Boston. I think it was 2. Yep. And then we went to Maine and spent 4 days in Maine, and then we went to upstate New York, spent a few days there, and then we came back and stayed in Virginia again. We were supposed to go to Kentucky, but we nixed it because of weather and timing and other stuff.
No. We were supposed to do South Carolina on the way back.
But we were supposed to do both. Remember, we were supposed to do New River Gorge as well.
You're right.
And we nixed because of just weather and timing. And then South Carolina got nixed because, like I said, Kentucky did us dirty. Virginia did us dirty. We cut out Kentucky. We went to Virginia. And then it was hot. It was Satan level hot.
So hot.
Like, we went from can I get naked enough?
Like, don't look over here. I'm naked.
So hot that we were like, and then I had some family stuff, or my best friend needed me, and so we nixed North Carolina, which was fine. And
we also nixed it because it was so
hot.
So we were like, Alexis has family friend issues. It's too hot. Let's just get home.
Go home. At this point, it had been 2 weeks. It was. We all thought we were gonna fight night one, and we had little tiffs and quarrels, but it was like we would snap and then be like. Okay, it was either because I was tired or I was hungry or I just needed space, and we dealt with it, and we was like, let's move on, let's figure it out, and let's keep going. And
it was also the fact that everyone expressed what they need. Like we got angry and went, I need to go to bed. I need a minute. I need to call somebody.
Or I need this thing.
Away. Yeah. And like we all expressed, okay, I did get mad. But this is what I need right now, just so that we don't get into a fight. And we really didn't fight. Like, it was just little like oh, I'm just so frustrated because it's
Yeah.
late at night. We've been driving all day, or I'm hungry and my body needs this. And it's just like normal everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise than that, it was a great trip.
I think we've had worse fights at home over smaller things than we did on this road trip.
We really did. We really did. I think it truly came down to, you have to, when you go on a road trip, especially a road trip, not like I'm flying somewhere, I'm only going to be with you for an hour. I'm going to be in this car with you for multiple hours and multiple days for up to like 2 weeks at this point. Yeah. And if you don't say something, you're going to be miserable. And I think it was key that everyone knew. Yeah. I think that's basic road trip rule number one. Say what you need. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. And it's okay to snap. As long as when it comes up, the other people are like, okay, there's something that's going on. Let's not take it personally. And two, the person who is snapping is saying, okay, like, they're just not letting it be like, this is fine. I'm allowed to snap at them. I'm doing it because I need something. What does that need?
Yeah. So. Well, and even so, there was one point where I very much take over. I just have that loud personality, and I naturally take over things without even realizing it. Like, it doesn't cross my mind. I'm just like, oh, it needs to get done. I'm here. I know how to do it. I'm good at it. Let me do it. And at one point you were like, Becca, stop. I need to pack this car. Like, I need it organized this way just for right now. And I had to step away because I knew that if I didn't step away, I would have taken over, and then we would have gotten into a fight. Yeah. And you expressed, this is what you need. I stepped back. I had to literally walk away so that I wouldn't take over, because I know my personality, and it worked.
And I'll say, when it happened in the moment, from my perspective, you were angry about it. Like, you're like, but why? Like, why do I have to step away? You did it, and it worked out, but because I think it's natural response to be like, why am I not good enough to help out? Why am I? Like, why is she not want me to do it? And we later were able to talk and be like, you guys have your own bits and pieces. Like, you guys have both planned this trip so thoroughly. I didn't get to do any of that purely because it wasn't where I was needed. But I know that I'm good at packing a car, and I need to be felt as if valuable. Like your dad, like you were talking about with your dad. Like, that's something that I needed to feel valuable in. But one of my favorite moments from that trip, counting lobsters in Maine. Loved counting lobsters.
That was
moose hunt. Even though you guys did moose hunt without me, moose hunt 2022.
I know. Well, we wanted to continue it. We felt bad.
I know.
I swear that mooses don't exist still, though. We went all the way to Canada, and we still haven't seen a moose. All the way to Canada. I've seen a beaver. I've seen fish. I've seen a million birds. We saw wild pigs on this last road trip. Moose do not exist. They're made up. They're like unicorns and dragons. They're made up.
Gone. Walking in Niagara Falls. That was fun. Or the
and
Falls.
that was a
last minute thing too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a complete like, okay,
that was we don't want to pay for the boat.
For the boat. We were like, no, we were cheapskates. We're like, no. And then we're like, okay, well, I wanted to be under the waterfall. That was my big thing. And the boat only puts you in the mist. And I'm like, I'm not paying all this money to be in the mist. I'm like, I'm literally in the mist right now. I'm not paying all this money to get on a boat to be in the mist.
It was really, and like, it's comparative to what we stood under. It was like half the cost to stand under it than it was to get on the boat and stand in the mist.
To be actually under the fall. Yeah. And we had so much more fun because we could be there for as long as we wanted. There was no time limit, whereas the boat is a time limit. You get they put you in the mist for so long, they get you back. Like, that is it. You were paying out the wazoo, and the stairs are so much better. We had a blast. That I still have photos on my phone. And I'm like, oh, I loved that fluke of a trip.
Yeah. I loved
some of the best stuff is like the random, like, oh, we were gonna do this, but it didn't work out, and now we found this.
Yeah. I also loved the Children's Museum, which was a TikTok find. The Richmond Children's Museum. Well, that was so much fun, even as grown adults.
Blast. Yeah. Well, and we all got in for free because we're all teachers. Yeah.
They were like,
give us.
They were like, it'll be X amount of dollars. And we were like, okay, we're all teachers. Bam! All three of us slid our
literally threw our
ideas. And it was elementary, high school, college.
Yeah.
We just needed it at a middle school.
Oh, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Hey, but that middle schooler, whoever that middle school teacher is, has to fit into the group. They do. So they need to fit in where we need our needs.
Yeah. So they need to be a non-driver. Or no, a night driver. We need a night driver.
We need a night driver. A long distance night driver.
Yeah. So
that's what.
But I think that was my favorite. It's definitely my longest trip, but there's just so many good memories. Like looking back, it was just so much fun. There wasn't. I don't remember. Oh, I also really liked the Nerf gun fight with BJ.
Oh, with BJ, yeah. So we to save money, because my family is also cheapskate. Not only do we drive everywhere, road trip, but we stay on couches and floors and everywhere. So I have a friend in Boston and Massachusetts, and I was like, hey, we're going up to Maine. Can we stop on our way to say hi and just like get in air conditioning? Because at this point we would.
And he has lots of room, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has like a 3-story house. Yeah. So with a basement.
Yeah.
So 4 stories. Although he does share, he has roommates and all of that.
But the basement is like basement. Yeah, it's like a converted lounge area, basically.
Oh yeah, it's like a movie theater. He's got it set up. He's got couches and the stands and
like riser. Amazing. Yeah.
Also, shout out to VJ. Thank you. We love
you.
But yeah, so I called him up. I was like, hey, we're going on a road trip again. Can we stop and visit and say hi and stay at your place again? Because we always stay at VJ's house. And he's like, yeah, of course. But on our way up,
we stopped to get gas.
And we needed to stretch our legs.
Yep.
So we stopped at BJ's. And if you follow the TikTok, you'll see us trying on swimsuits.
Well, the other thing is that when we were walking around stretching our legs out, my best friend Courtney had gotten like these Nerf guns, and I loved playing with them. And I was like, and so I saw them at BJ's, and I was like, I had just been thinking about these. I was like, I know we literally have no room in our car, but do you think we can get these and take them home?
Like, Alexis is like bundled up in the back seat, like curled up. We have 0 room, but Alexis wanted these Nerf guns. I went, okay. They were cheap too. They were like 15
There's 2, and then we were like, you can get 2, I can get 2, like we'll one package as 2 guns. Then we have 4, and we can all play. Okay.
Yeah. So we took them out. We shot them.
We in the car.
They worked in the car while my mom was driving. She was not
guns.
She was not happy.
She did laugh, but she was not impressed.
So anyways, we tested them in the car. We finally get up to BJ's late at night. And so I walk up with the gun behind me. Alexis walks up behind me with her gun. And we pull him out and we start shooting him with these Nerf guns. Come to find out, this man had a preloaded Nerf gun. He runs, because he was in the kitchen when we went in and we started like shooting at him. He runs out of the kitchen into his living room, and we thought
he was hiding behind the couch.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, we got you now. Come to find out, he lifts up in his ottoman that has storage and whips out a preloaded Nerf gun and starts shooting back at us.
I was like, 3 guests in the house at this point. We had one of his coworkers, his roommate, and then Mom was in the house too. Yeah. And it was like
mad chaos.
They're trying to run around, not get hit by us. We're trying to go and collect our Nerf gun, our like bullets again. Trying to steal his so that he can't reload.
Yes, that was the key. Steal his so he couldn't reload. And then he tried to steal our gun because we stole his ammo.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
And again, a spontaneous thing that was just a lot of fun.
It just happens. That's what. That's what I like about road trips. I love something got ruined. What do we replace it with? Like Adam and I took a trip out to Arizona, and we were out there and we didn't know what to do. Like we had a free day, and I try not to over plan because my husband is very opposite of my family. My family, when we go somewhere, we go somewhere. We're going to do something. If we go out of the country, we're going to learn about the culture. If we're in a different state, we're going to do something state related, history related, something. We're always doing something. Something has to be planned. You're going to do something. Whereas my husband's family is very much opposite, and they're the vacation family where they're like, sit by the pool, have a drink, chill.
Luxuriate.
I'm like anxious. I'm like, there's so many things to see and do, and they're like, the pool is fine. I'm like, we have a pool at home. You can sit by the pool at home. And so
But it's not this pool, Becca.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've learned is if I plan an activity first thing in the morning and leave the rest of the day open, a lot of times since we're already out doing this activity, he's willing to like go find something else or go here or there. And so it's not as packed as when my family plans trips.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't feel overwhelmed with all the activities. And so we had an open day. And we found this tubing place where you could literally tube down the river. We had a blast.
Yeah.
It was a complete, like, we were biking somewhere. We rented bikes and we were biking around and we met some wonderful people. Always meet wonderful people. And we were chatting and they were locals and they're like, oh yeah, go up here. Like there's a whole bus system and you just park your car and then you could float down the river. It was one of the best activities I had on that trip. I loved that activity so much. And it was, again, completely random, like non-planned.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about my favorite trip, and also because you were on my favorite trip. You can pick one.
One
road trip. And I'll even limit it to like the last 8 years. Okay? Because this way,
I'll take a road trip every year.
So that's only 8 to pick from versus the how many you went on as a kid, okay?
I don't know. Sometimes we travel to.
Fine. I'll let you pick. Anytime, any road trip from now to whenever. I tried limiting it to you and you complained. So you get what you get. Don't complain. Favorite road trip, you get one.
Number one road trip.
Number one. Like if you could go and relive that road trip right now, you would. Oh. During the summer, if you could relive a road trip. I feel like you would even take your worst road trip right now if you could get you out of school.
I really would take my worst road trip at this point. Oh,
so,
man.
Number one.
I don't know. Maine was great. Yeah. We had very minimal issues. Maine is up there. It's like
pat myself on the back a little bit for that one.
Maine truly was fun. We just did a Yellowstone trip too, where we hit a bunch of national parks.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm gonna tell a little side story while you think, okay?
Okay.
Speaking of hitting national parks, Becca has made these jackets, shirts, both. That's like national parks that I visited.
Oh,
and
hold on. So if you watch on YouTube, you can see it.
Okay, you're supposed to be thinking. Stop talking.
I'm thinking.
Anyway, so she has this jacket she's going to show. The magical hands behind the camera are going to get it now. And anyway, so they started marking it off because they obviously go on road trips a lot. She's like, oh, we should make you one for your first national parks. I said, no. And she said, why? I said, every national park we go to, people stop you and talk to you about your sweatshirt. I don't want them talking to me. I don't want it. I don't want it.
So if you're watching on YouTube, these are our sweatshirts. They say National Parkaholic on them, on the front. And then and that's usually what people see first. And they're like, oh, we love your shirts. And then we turn around, I put
or if they do see it from the back, they start going through and being like, oh, I've been to this one. I've been to that one. I've been there.
And they like seeing like the places that we've been. So we mark it off. This one has the top 10 national parks plus the national parks we were aiming to hit on our Yellowstone trip. But I made them for my whole family and then Adam. And the sweatshirts have like a passport stamp that you can get at the national parks. I personally made a special one designed for each of the national parks. And so you got your stamp on the front pocket of this hoodie for your first national park. So the national park that you first ever visited. So mine is Biscayne. My family took me, my sister and I to Biscayne. And that was technically our first national park. But my husband has the Gateway Arch. on his hoodie because that was his first national park.
Yeah. So back to you, favorite trip. You're not getting out of it.
Oh, it's so hard.
As I tell my third graders, hard things help us grow.
I'm not a third grader anymore.
Teenagers and
freshmen.
I was gonna say teenagers and toddlers are basically the same thing. One just has more vocabulary than the other.
Correct.
So
my teenagers love candy. They love stickers.
She's sidetracking guys.
They got upset because I didn't put stickers on their 100 work. I had a pile of stickers left over from Relay for Life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Miss Rebecca, if you actually put stickers on things, I'd try even harder. And I went, okay. And so I took a sticker off and put it on one of the pieces of work. And all the kids got jealous. And they're like, why didn't I get a sticker? I'm like, guys.
My college professor did it because she used to say that everyone wants a sticker and 100 on the fridge.
It's so true, though.
Favorite park?
Favorite park? That's easy.
Nope, I lied. No, rewind. Favorite road trip was the question.
Wait. Favorite national park is
She's cheating, y'all.
I
misspoke. I'm tired, and she's cheating. Cheater, pumpkin eater. Pumpkin drinks are out at Dunkin'.
Yeah.
They came out today. I may or may not have stopped. I did not get a pumpkin drink. Calm down. I wanted the caramel swirl that I had last time, and you tried it, and you went meh. So, no, you didn't go bleh. You went meh. It wasn't your pumpkin drink, but it wasn't like terrible.
I would have stopped for pumpkin drink twice today if you had let me know. There's a donkey on my way out, and there's a donkey on my way back.
Well, tomorrow is a donkey run, I guess.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking so.
Anyway, okay, so she won't respond to my question about her favorite road trip. We're just gonna chalk it up. We're just gonna chalk it up to Yellowstone is tied for number 1 along with Maine. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the only 2 she's talked about today. Mine's the one to Canada.
The Keys trip was fun too.
No,
Canada. We just did Canada, and it was fun, but we ran into so many issues. I got to drive a horse and buggy.
I was about to say that.
Last road trip. It was a blast. So because of all of the fires in Canada, we ran into a few issues. But there was one day that we reserved for Mackinac Island. That was our planned day to go to Mackinac Island. It was clear as day. Literally the perfect day. You could not have planned it any better. The perfect day. And I got to drive a horse and buggy on the island. We had
I got a FaceTime of said horse and buggy drive.
Yes.
Because my favorite thing are tree-covered roads. And Becca and her mom like to make fun of me for it. Because anytime I see them, like, tree-covered roads. So they were driving the horse and buggy and over a tree-covered road. And the fact that she was driving a horse and buggy was more my focus than the tree-covered roads. And they're like, we just called you to tell you about the tree-covered roads, not the horse and buggy.
Yeah, well, just so you know, after the Maine trip, and you got so excited about these tree-covered roads, they are now called Alexis's roads. So whenever we go on a road trip with my mom's like, either my mom or I will be like, oh, this is an Alexis road. Hold on, we have to call her so she can see her road.
A tree-covered road that has an ice cream stand to the side.
Yeah, that would be your dream. You're the dream, right? If I ever go down a tree-covered road and there's ice cream at one end or the other in between, I will be sure to mark it on a map
as Alexis's place.
Yes. I'm gonna walk up to the ice cream place and be like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to rename this shop
Alexis's place. Okay.
Alexis's heaven.
Road trips are fun. Road trip snacks. So a tip that you've taught is that you like to pre-prepare snacks.
I do. Yeah. So snacks are expensive on road trips. They're stupid expensive. So we have a snack bin with all our dry snacks. So that's like your chips, the normal what
The
you
gummy
think
bears.
snacks. Gummy bears can go in there, yes. But then we also have a cooler with like I make tomatoes and dip. I make carrots and ranch. I make
Grapes.
fruit cups.
Yeah.
I make yogurt with the granola that you can put on
brought
top.
sandwich stuff, cereal stuff.
So we bring all the snacks, but I need it because like you, after the 2 hour mark, if I start getting bored, if I eat something, it keeps me my I don't know what happens, but my body's like, okay, I'm content. I can keep driving for another 2 hours, but I have to eat something. So that's why I like having a variety of snacks.
If anyone would like to revolt against the road trip princess, ice. Home skillet French fry cannot keep ice in the cooler. And I'd be like, oh, hey, we need ice. And they're like, nah, we'll get ice tomorrow. We'll get ice the next day.
It's fine.
Growing up, I camped. The way you road tripped, I camped. And so I know that we need ice in the cooler. But I was like, you know what? It's a road trip. It's not camping. It's a road trip. I'll trust you. Things went bad. And I said, next time we go on a road trip, when I say we need ice, we need ice. Not just like a bag of ice every 4 days. We need ice. Do you understand?
Alexis is on ice duty next time. I know. Well, and we just we did the Canada trip, right? And we didn't bring the big nice cooler.
Oh, okay.
We brought
terrible at ice again.
We brought a little cooler that doesn't hold the ice very well. It was so bad. Alexis, it was awful. We ran out of ice and I just couldn't keep on top of the ice. I was like, I hate ice.
This is why you should start inviting me on more road trips. I'll sleep on the floor.
Okay. And then you take care of the ice.
I'll take care of the ice.
Cooler is okay. Yeah, we lost a whole bag of watermelon on that trip. Oh, it was sad.
It's sad. My road trip snack, I love my fruit and veg. I always can munch on some fruit and veg. Sure. Gummy bears, we tried an entire bag of gummy bears during road tripping, but I like ice cream.
Because you guessed.
Yeah, I was guessing. I'm an ice cream gal. So listen, but here's the thing. It's not a road trip snack like I'm driving, but if I'm going on a trip, I'm going to asterisk this. If I'm going on a trip, I want ice cream. And I want ice cream from like a local mom pop shop kind of place. I want to try the new and the cool. In the car road trip and snack, I do love the veggie snacks. That was good. Right now, like from Maine, it was definitely the veggies and whatnot. But like sitting here, I want chips. But I'm also just been in like a salty mood.
I'm not a big chip person, but lately I've been like craving chips.
Something's in the air.
My thing recently has been pretzels. I really like the little pretzels. They're so easy.
No.
We
did do pretzels last time, and I made you put cream cheese in the
for you.
Yeah. And that's still one of my faves. I do like that.
Yeah, but I like pretzels just by themselves because they're easy. You get your salty in there, but you don't feel like really gross after eating like a whole bag of chips as much as you do pretzels. So I pretzels, but I love the carrots and I love the tomatoes just because you don't feel bad snacking on a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And you just like
pop. Yep.
Yeah.
And I like that because we don't. Yeah. I sometimes with me for snacking though, if I snack too much, then I never feel satisfied because I never like get that full feeling, that full like this sensation that I'm full. So, and I came a few days when we had like driving days back to back where I would have that issue because we would never have like a full lunch. Like we would like munch and then we would just munch from breakfast to dinner. And so by the time I got to dinner, I wasn't hungry. We'd munched all day, but I wasn't full. I didn't feel full. Like my brain was like, oh, you could still eat because I never got fully and finally satisfied.
See, and I'm the opposite. If I snack and I just take snacks, I'm not hungry for dinner. I'm like, I'm good. I ate. Like, I don't feel like full where I'm going to roll out of a buffet full, but like, I'm satisfied. My body's like, you're good. You had enough. You snacked all day. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, no.
Go to bed.
I wish. But okay. So speaking of getting point A, point B, we gotta stay somewhere in between. So I know with a lot of your road trips, you tend to take like camping devices.
We do a lot of camping, but we also do a lot of couch surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love visiting friends.
Yeah. You're
I'm a
that
very
social
clearly
butterfly.
I'm a very social. Yeah, clearly I'm a very social butterfly. I'm an introverted extrovert. So I'm very extroverted, but every now and then I'm like,
Your
I just
battery
need to.
gets refilled by people, but sometimes you need a break.
Yeah, but sometimes I need a break. So I love road trips where I get to go see family. I especially love visiting friends because it's just they're proud of where they live, and you get to do so much more because they
They
know,
know
like,
it.
oh, let's go here, let's go there. Um, so I like couch surfing, but I also enjoy camping because you meet amazing people. We were in Canada, and my mom and I had to set up camp by ourselves because the boys weren't there yet, and we were having such a hard time. And our camping neighbors that were behind us were so nice and so sweet, and you just meet amazing
Yeah.
people when you're camping.
Yeah. If you heard it, I said camping devices
Yeah.
because they do camp in tents. That's what we did for Maine,
Yep.
where I have a tent palace. I say that because it's a 10-person tent, but it fits 3 people
And
comfortably.
it has a swinging door.
Door.
I love.
Catch Becca's MTV My Cribs on
Yeah.
our
On
TikTok.
TikTok. It's
But
on the
we
other
have that.
TikTok. It's on the Haley Family
Well,
Vacay TikTok.
well, move it over to
Okay, I'll make
the
a copy
podcast.
and move it over.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then you guys have the like pop-up tent, right?
Yes, we have a
Tow
well,
behind.
it's similar to a pop-up tent. A lot of people, when they think pop-up tent, they think like the metal surround with the kitchen inside and all that. Ours is just a little bit different. It's like a camping tent, but it's just on the back of a trailer, so it pops up really easily.
And then
But we used to have a pop-up tent back in the day.
And then you did once take the full RV.
Yes.
And then you have a tow behind RV. A 40-foot tow behind RV?
Yeah, she's 40 feet. Yeah. So she's a 40-foot travel trailer. So you have to add then like 10 feet for the hitch.
For the truck. Yeah.
And all of that. And then you have to add like another 15, 20 feet for the bed of the truck. So we were pushing like 50, 60 feet long on the road.
I was dog sitting for this itinerary. And they like this nice listed out. They're supposed to go to like over to the canyons and different national parks on the West Coast. And I get a text 4 days in. Nope, we're staying on the East Coast. We'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Because we were so big. We were so ambitious because this was the first time that we had an RV. Like normally we camp. It's tent camp. It's the little tiny pop-up camper. So we're pretty much rednecks. Like we're used to towing stuff. I know how to drive a truck. I know how to back up a truck. I know how to drive manual. Like I can drive stick. I love driving stick. My first car in college was a stick shift. Love that little.
You talked about that first day when you were angry.
Yeah.
Just get in there.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So like I've got experience towing stuff and towing large things, but it was just we were just so ambitious. We're like, we got this. We have the experience. We know what we're doing. We're a team. Like we've traveled together before. Everyone knows their role. We know how to act together. We've done long road trips together before. And it was just one of those things where we got to Tennessee and I had never been so anxious, like just nervous, anxious, worried on a trip ever. Normally I'm very chill on a trip. I'm like, it's cool, let's go, it's vacation, like I want to do fun things. But that trip when we got to Tennessee, and again, this is only our second day, okay, and I was panicked. I was not having fun. I was freaking out. I was already nervous about the next day and what we had to do and where we had to go, that I was like, no, and I talked to my husband and he's like, yeah, I'm feeling very anxious and nervous as well. He had the same feeling. And so we sat down with my parents and I'm like, look, this is how we're feeling. I don't think we can go all this distance all the way out to our goal, basically. And so we reevaluated, and that whole road trip got changed around. We ended up doing Tennessee, Georgia, and coming home.
And I will say too, I think the other thing that is important to note here is this is your home. Like, it's not just like an RV you took out. Like, at the end of the day, if anything would have happened, not only would you have been out an RV for traveling, you would have been out your home and all your stuff in your home. So,
well, we didn't have a lot in the home at the time. She was new. But
what you did have in the home is still your home. Would have been definitely a thing. I know there are, we haven't done this as much on our road tripping, hotels and hostels. We did one on a flight, you and I.
We did.
So I'm definitely team hostel for when you really need to get out of the heat, out of the thing. You have no friends around. That was a great time.
I loved that hostel too.
Yeah.
And then Adam and I, we've gone out of the country, and we've only done hostels out of the country, and loved every minute of it because you just get to meet so many people. And I understand that people get nervous. When I travel with my husband, I am a girl. So we try to do a 4-person mixed room, because even if we end up with 2 guys and something happens, I can defend myself. He can take on the other person. Like, it's a one-on-one kind of situation.
Yeah.
But I want to say we were in London for a couple days, and they had no 4-person mixed bedroom. So I told him, I was like, just to be safe, I'm going to go stay with the girls, and you can stay in a mixed bedroom. So I was in a 6-person girl dorm, and then he was two or three flights up in the 10-person mixed dorm. We saved a ton of money doing it. I met some amazing ladies. We met some of the people from his room, which were super nice. Like, it's just such a welcoming atmosphere. And don't get me wrong, when we stay in the 4-person hostel and I'm the only girl in that hostel, I rarely ever feel like truly something's bad's going to happen. It's just, as a girl traveling, you have to be aware of these things. And so we just take the extra precaution just so that we don't have to worry about it. In the back of our head. But we did 6 girls.
6 girls. 6 girls in Denver, Colorado, or right outside of Colorado. It was not Denver. It was about an hour and a half. It was right outside Copper Ski Resort, about 30-ish minutes. And it was by the Cadobo. It was a blast. And we really only stayed there, like, literally to sleep, and then we left. Like, we could have enjoyed that experience so much more had we been there more time too. But even then, like, you got injured, and like people we never know, and we're like, oh, here, you're on the top bunk, here, be on the bottom bunk. What can I do for you? How'd you do it? Like, they were just so automatically just courteous.
Yeah. Well, and it was so funny because really, I don't know how much we could have done, because those girls were all gone by the time we got up in the morning. Like, when I was in London and all that, I got up and everyone was bustling about. But we got up at like 6 a.m. in Colorado, and these girls were gone. We had the whole room to ourselves at 6 a.m. And I'm like, where are we?
So what crazy juice did you drink, and where do I avoid it?
Yeah, right? It was.
So I think hotels have their pros.
Yes.
When breakfast is included, hey, I'm here for it. Families, like, we'll stay in hotels when it's like my family is huge. Like 10 plus people go on trips when it's a family trip, for my side. And so I think hotels can be good for that. Like, we're all in one place. They have littles. It's a great place to have the littles. But as a young adult, or as an adult in general, because your mom stayed in a hostel when she went to visit your sister.
She stayed in the same hostel we stayed in. Yeah, because it's cheap. And she loved it.
Yeah, I think hotels have a space. I just wish like more hostels were available, or more people, like, especially in the US, enjoyed it too.
But I also think hotels are more for those families that are going to stay and chill. Like Adam's family are hotel family, because they're very like, we're gonna use the amenities here. We're gonna be here. Whereas my family is a very much get up, go, we literally just need a place to rest our head that's cheap,
or
because we're out and about, we're doing stuff.
So or families that definitely need that quiet, like they need their space, a quiet place away from everything else.
But even so, you can get a private room in a lot of these hostels.
Yeah, which is an option.
You can have the experience and still have your own space. But I love hostels. I would do hostels.
Team hostels.
Yeah, I love camping. I would go camping, depending on the weather.
Yeah.
Hostel. And then, oh no. I would go camping, friends, hostel, hotel.
And I think too, like the first two to me are very much road tripping versus like if I'm traveling, like if I'm getting on a plane and flying, that's where hostels and hotels are going to come in more for me.
Unless, of course, we go out and visit our friend on the West Coast.
Or my brother.
Or your brother.
Depending on where he is when he's there.
Yeah.
I've traveled more purely because he moves. Like, both times I've been on the West Coast or farther to the west than I am now is because of him. I went to Hawaii when I was in 2018 because he lived there. I went to Arizona he paid for my trip.
I was with you.
Nope.
No, I didn't go to Arizona.
Oh, it's okay.
No. That was our stopover.
Yeah. And Colorado was the other one that I did because of you and your sister. But two of those were my brother. And so right now he's doing an intern in Seattle. And I'm like, if you're there, I'm going to come visit. I think he leaves some point this summer. And we have no clue what he's doing next.
Girls trip to Seattle? Or we can make it a couples trip. We can bring the boys.
Okay, here's my thing right now. I've been asking to go to Seattle. I even, out of bored stupidity, planned a 7-day trip to Seattle and Oregon. Like, fly into Seattle, do Seattle things, take the train to Oregon, do the Oregon things, take the train back, fly out. Okay? Did this. I was like, I've got it all ready to go. We just have to go. And he's like, well, I really want to do it. I want to go to California too. I was like, okay, fine. We'll wait until we can do all 3 stops. Fine.
No.
Listen, wait. Before you get angry. No. I'm gonna help you. No, stop.
California road trip.
So now we're like, what are we gonna do for Thanksgiving? Our families are coming together for Christmas. We can, like, 2 birds, 1 stone that. We have Thanksgiving for ourselves. It's like, well, we can go see my aunt and uncle in California. Like, you told me that we couldn't do Seattle unless we did California, and now we're skipping Seattle to do California? I said, the hornswoggery. But I was like, you know what? In my girl brain, I said, fine, we'll go do California for Thanksgiving, because then you have no excuse not to go with me to Seattle.
Oh, well, Adam and I are doing a road trip, and we're going to go camp on the beach in Texas, because we still need to knock Texas off the list.
I do want to do Texas. There was an ice cream shop I found in Texas.
We did the Cadillac Ranch, which was a blast. That was one of our stops on our road trip home. We stopped in Cadillac Ranch. But Texas is so big that I'm like, you have to at least make 2 or 3 stops in Texas to make that state really well. So technically we've hit Texas, but we are not counting it yet until we do one more stop.
Well, the solar eclipse, the full solar eclipse will be in April of this school year, because we think in school years. Yeah, 2024. So it passes through Texas. So that might be something we do this year.
Out to Texas.
We might fly just because Kevin has friends out there.
I was about to say. And BJ's family's out there.
Oh, so couples trip to go see the. And there's an ice cream place near Austin.
Of course, there's an ice cream place. Of course.
You sent it to me. You sent this one to me.
We need to get to Seattle sooner because your brother's out there.
I need to go to Oregon because I want to visit the Tillamook factory.
I want to go to Oregon. There's a quilting shop I want to visit.
Deal. If I get ice cream, you can have quilts.
Fine.
This might need to be a girls' trip so we can not date the boys.
No, because I'm not allowed to knock off the state without Adam.
But that just means you have to go back.
Our goal is to hit all 50 states together.
Yeah.
So if one of us has hit it, like I've already been to California
Mm-hmm.
and he's already been to California, but we haven't done it together. So we can't count it until we do it together.
That's cute.
So if we do it, he has to come because I'm not going to spend all that money to get out there, not to have it count.
Fine. Okay, so we are rounding down. We will plan all these trips later because no one wants to hear the.
No one else to hear our
we
plan.
can't have a road trip podcast without talking about our favorite seats in the car.
Passenger, front seat passenger. I call that shotgun right now. Shotgun.
Eternal shotgun back there.
Eternal shotgun.
You mentioned this earlier. I am a hobbit, and I prefer the hobbit hole of the back seat. Preferably, I know this is going to sound really, actually, not preferably. I really don't care whether it has stuff or not. If it is packed to the brim, like sardine, I'm cool with it. Why? Because I'll just roll over, get to curl up in a corner, and take a nice, lovely nap. And you're like, you can't sleep for 6 hours straight. Do you want to bet?
Yes, you can. I was like, if I slept for 6 hours, woke up, got dinner, and then we went to bed, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Alexis is like, sleep the whole trip, wake up, we feed her, and then she gets into bed and she's
I'm tired.
I'm like, what the heck? Do anything all day.
Okay. But I can also stretch. I do enjoy the stretching out too. But I'm completely fine, comfortable, enjoy the hobbit hole of the backseat in a packed car. So I am for sure. Sign me up. The front seat's a lot of work. I want to sleep.
But it worked out perfectly because my mom enjoyed driving. I like being in the passenger seat. I like navigating. I like being able to stretch out, navigating. My family we call it navigating because sometimes it's just like turn here.
Try it.
Guessing sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you loved the back seat in the little hobbit hole so much that it was perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it really worked out. And very rarely did I have to sit in the hobbit hole, which was lovely because
it was only when I drove, which was less than 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, okay, I can do this because it was less than 2 hours. But I think that was another way that we just matched so perfectly that we all have our own way of driving, our own specific driving that doesn't overlap someone else's.
Yeah.
And we all have our own designated spots that work out perfectly.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, Becca, it has been fun laughing with you.
It's been fun chatting with you about road trips.
And we will see you again next week.
Yes.
Bye.